So since this is the Keep from Going Broke series, what do we do to keep from going broke when it comes to food? What do we spend too much money on food?
Getting pre-made foods.
Pre-made food? Okay. Like what do you mean by pre-made?
McDonald's cooked, it's made by other people, so it
So
costs a little bit.
takeout restaurant food?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What else? She mentioned it in her first lecture. Entertainment. But we're talking about food. So think about food.
Coffee.
First thing in the morning, yes. Coffee. Okay. How much is a if we go out for coffee, how much is that? $4 to $6? Okay. Okay, we'll say 5. Okay, we'll say $5. A happy medium, if you're not getting the giant one. How much is that over a month?
Wait, a month, let's say 31 days, and you're going every day. If you want to go once a day.
I'm just saying.
Yes, some people go twice a day. Yeah.
It is $155 a month.
Okay. Per month?
Let's say you go twice a day.
Okay. Yeah. So that adds up quite a bit over a month. Was that in your line item budget? Was there $155 we budgeted for coffee? Okay.
Coffee, very little.
Yeah. Okay. And then coffee's a big one, but so when we were talking about tips of not going broke, when we go to get gas at the convenience store and we go inside, she's holding up her Mountain Dew, right? How hard was it to avoid getting that Mountain Dew?
Oh, I purposely stopped to get it.
Okay. So those are habits, right? We stop go in the gas station. Mine and so not nutritious is those little cheese Danish things and the Frappuccino, which we could talk about that in a whole class about how much sugar is in those things. Okay. So pumping at the pump instead of going in and just trying to forget about all those delicious, unhealthy, snacky things that are in there. Okay, and then when we think about shopping, what do you guys think is expensive about shopping?
If you're shopping while you're hungry,
Shopping while you're hungry, okay.
not going in with a list to follow, following the list, not following your list.
Okay, good. Okay.
Also, stay away from the end caps.
The end caps?
Doing the circle thing, you should do that better. Like start with,
Okay.
not do the end caps.
Yeah, so we talk about shopping the perimeter, right? So when we, in nutrition, and if you guys have taken my classes before, do you guys know about My Plate, right? What are our 4 food groups? Protein? Sorry, I have horrible handwriting and spelling. What's the other? What are the other ones?
Veggies, fruits,
Veggies, fruits.
dairy.
Yeah, we got dairy over here, a little bit of dairy. Grains. Okay. So we're not getting too much into nutrition today, but when we think about the perimeter of the store, right? So oftentimes you walk in, first thing you walk in is produce. Okay, so that's your fruits and veggies. And then we have our bread, at least at the store I shop at, the bread at Walmart is over here. So we have our grains. And then once I turn the corner is all the meat. Okay. And then over here is the dairy. What's in here? Just all the junk food. Is there things we need in here though? Yes. Okay, so there's some things we need in there. Okay, so that's when your tip comes in handy, is the list. Okay, don't peruse all those middle aisles. Okay, but everything we need for a healthy diet is in that perimeter. Okay, and then maybe we're going to go in and get our coffee and maybe some cereal too. Okay, but go into that section not hungry and with a plan for sure. Okay. Takeout. So I have been hearing a lot of people, and I even saw it on, I think it was Facebook this morning when I got up and checked my phone, was that takeout is getting cheaper than groceries. What do you guys think about that?
That's so dangerous.
Does anyone feel that way?
It can be, but like if you're just getting it for one meal, it's really not worth it. You can spread out when you go to the grocery store, you can spread it.
Exactly. So you'll have that groceries left over in the future.
What I found is the junk is cheaper than the healthy stuff.
Yes.
Like the fruits and vegetables are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ridiculously expensive. And if you have 4 kids, it doesn't last long.
Hmm.
So, I mean, like I can get a box of like, noodles or pre-made stuff, like so cheap.
Okay.
It's like $1.
Why do we eat though? What's the purpose of eating? Yeah, to survive and nourish ourselves. What happens if we only eat junk? So this is designed for a certain reason. Do you guys know what this is based off? Why they made this up? Is it just to rain on our parade? This is to fight chronic disease, okay? So this is how we have to eat if we want to not get heart disease and have strokes and get cancer and diabetes as we get older, okay? And if you look at every single vitamin and mineral, I think, who was in our last class online? Were you there?
I was there.
Were you when we talked about getting 1,000 milligrams of calcium?
Yes.
Okay, how hard was that?
For me, it was hard for me because as I became older, I was thinking I didn't like milk, but I love yogurt. So you helped me with finding different ways to get my dairy in my diet.
Yeah, so we did an exercise where the parents had to find how to get 1,000 milligrams of calcium, which is the recommended amount for their kids in one day. And it include a lot of foods, like include a lot of healthy foods. And so when we also need all the vitamin A we need for a day. We need all the vitamin C we need for a day, right? So when you actually look at that and try to add it all up, there's no room for unhealthy food in our diet. You would have to be eating all the healthy food, all of this 3 times a day, and junk to get the nutrients that you need, okay? So when we think about it, it's expensive, but we have some classes that'll help to get that produce a little more cheaper. Okay, so I did a little exercise for the takeout. Okay, so what we're going to talk about the pricing of that, and then the nutrition part of it too. Okay, so you can see a visual of it. Okay, so when I was a young single mom, okay, I could go, McDonald's dollar menu used to actually be $1, right? And so when I would think about it, I would say, okay, a spicy McChicken for all 3 of us is $3, okay? But if we wanted to make that at the store, we'd have to spend $10, $15 just to make that at home. So I was often eating off of that dollar menu. And people, when I saw the people say, oh no, it's not cheaper to eat off the dollar menu, it's cheaper to eat at home, I'd be like, no, you don't know. They would compare, like, if you're buying 3, like, double Whopper meals, you know what I mean, is $75 or something like that. So they make it look like it costs a lot. But I was like, no, when I eat off the dollar menu, it's really, really, really cheaper, okay? So here's the McDouble, okay, and a $1 drink, okay? And then I was going to show you the comparison of what we are going to make today, okay? So if you go to the store and buy all the stuff for the mini pizzas, okay? So when you add it all up, it's $7, okay? So that is more expensive, right? But when we divide that by 6, because all those ingredients make 6 pizzas, okay, it's only $1.17, okay? And then if we have the cucumber lemon water, which is much healthier for us than the dollar soda, even though that's really yummy, it's only $1.57, okay? So this is, and it doesn't seem like much for one day, but when you look at it over the whole month and we're thinking about our budget for the entire month, this is $47 for the month, and this is $75, okay? So what can you do with extra $30? Save it. You get a pedicure, or you could save it, or we could buy what? What's so expensive at the store? You just said it. All the fruits and vegetables that we need, okay? So we can use that $30 to get more nutrition in our bodies. Okay. Now, when we look at the nutrition piece, boom, boom, boom. Okay. So we'll go through each line, okay? Calories for the McDouble is almost 400 versus 240, okay? Calories in themselves aren't bad. We need energy to move our bodies, right, and go through the day. Okay. Total fat is not something we worry too much about in nutrition because there's some healthy fats out there, okay? But we worry about the saturated fat, okay? Look at the difference in saturated fat. Okay, if you saw that in like a measurement of fat, 9 grams.
Can you read it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I printed out as big as I could. So it's 9 grams in the McDouble, and it's 2.5 grams in a mini pizza. Okay, and we have tubes where if you see the McDouble and the amount of, we measured out in like lard, that would be 2 whole giant tubes of lard, okay? Where the 2.5 grams is only about half of a tube.
My taste for a burger.
I'm sorry. It's not bad. We can have burgers every once in a while, right? But we're talking about every day, what we need every day, okay? Look at the micronutrients in it, too. This has a little bit of potassium and iron, but these have more of these vitamin C, vitamin A that we need, okay? We'll talk about that a little bit more. Okay, so huge difference in fat, okay? In the sugar, our mini pizza actually has a little bit more sugar than the McDouble, because the McDouble is like bread and meat, right? Okay. Protein. Okay. Also, with the 2 quarter pounders, you get more protein. Okay. Fiber. Why is fiber important? Yeah, for our digesting. Okay, so a lot of people think it helps keep us regular is what everyone thinks of, okay? But when we thought about our My Plate, we're talking about fighting chronic disease, okay? Fiber has a lot of important roles, okay? So if you look at your sugar line as 10 grams, okay? And you subtract the amount of fiber from that, okay? And then you get about 5 grams. Where here, if you take the sugar that's in the burger and subtract the fiber, you also have about 5 grams. So that's about 5 grams going into your blood right away. So you can kind of use that fiber as a way to say the fiber is going to slow down how fast that sugar goes into your blood, right? If we're just drinking juice, okay, all that sugar goes right into our stomach, right into our blood, like immediately, okay? Same with soda and things like that, okay? When we have fiber, right, we have several hours that slows that down, and so you have a lot of time to burn that sugar, and it'll keep you have more energy throughout the day, okay? And it will also, that helps us from getting diabetes and things like that. So if you think about it, if every day we're dumping a lot of sugar into our blood, okay, then that's how we build up extra calories, and we can develop diabetes over time, okay? Why don't we want saturated fat? Does anybody know what the saturated fat does in our bodies? If we think about our bloods as our blood vessels as little tubes, okay, and then you eat that McDouble, okay, immediately in your blood there will be fat floating around. If you drew your blood after eating a McDouble, you would see the thick fat in your blood. It's not good, okay? And so if that is living in there every day, that leads to heart disease, okay? So too much sugar every single day can lead to diabetes, and too much saturated fat can lead to heart disease, okay? So those are 2 that we definitely want to watch out for, okay? Sodium, look at this. Sodium. It's okay. It's okay. We're going to have some whole grain pieces afterwards. Okay. What about the sodium? Why do we want to limit our sodium? Anybody know why? Okay, also heart disease. okay? So sodium can cause like our blood to get really thick and our heart to have to work really hard, and same with sugar, and it has to work really hard to pump that around in our body and cause our blood pressure to go up higher, okay? So maybe when you're young, it's not as big of a deal, but as you get older, if you go to the doctor and you see that your blood pressure is going up, up, up every time you go to the doctor, you might be what they call salt sensitive, okay? And then you have to like kind of cut down that salt, okay? If you can get into the habit of it doing it younger, you're on a good path, okay? So we have all this high levels of the bad stuff in this McDouble, and then we have all these high levels of good stuff over here with the mini pizzas, okay? So we just don't want to, we said we have wants and needs, okay? We want something that tastes good, right? But we also, we need food, okay? We don't, with Cooking Matters, what we're trying to do is bridge the gap between everything that tastes delicious and things that are inexpensive and healthy, okay? So there's a way to do inexpensive and healthy and be delicious, okay? So we search recipes, okay? All of Cooking Matters recipes are feed a family of 4 for under $10. So if you're living on your own, that's a meal for $2.50, okay? When you get going. So there's budget recipes. Spend with Pennies is a great website to find really good budget recipes. I forgot what I was going to say, but yeah. So we can experiment with new recipes. Okay. We can also experiment with spices. Okay. So what we're going to do today with a trail mix is we have our homemade spice mixes. Okay. We have instead of the Flamin' Hot Cheetos. How many of you guys like Flamin' Hot Cheetos? Okay. That's one of those things that might get us to go into that convenience store and spend more money that we don't need to spend, right? So we have Flamin' Hot Cheetos, we have a ranch one, we have a Mexican hot cocoa one, okay? And when I was making the ranch one at the Karen Shore Kitchen, as I was making it out of all fresh herbs, it's all natural, there's no weird stuff in it, I found a little bottle that said ranch mix on the shelf. Okay, when I turned that label over to see what was in there was all kinds of horrible stuff in there, all kinds of chemicals to keep it from caking, all kinds of stuff that we don't really want in our bodies in those things. So you can buy those pre-made ones, but in your packets is a whole list of all the popcorn seasonings and trail mix seasonings. So spices is a really, really good way to bridge that gap between inexpensive food and yummy food, okay? Did you guys get one? I think I put it in the back of your folder. If you didn't, okay.
Oh, that's for just the kiddos.
Do you guys didn't get one? Oh, it's on here. Okay. So here's the infused waters. Okay, we have the infused water over there is cucumber lemon water. You guys should try it if you haven't already tried it because it's really, really refreshing when you're craving something like Gatorade. Okay. Here's a recipe for the mini pizzas, and we'll talk about the ingredients when we make those. Okay, but here's all the popcorn seasoning mixes over here. Okay, and so these work for popcorn and they work for trail mix, and they're really delicious. And you can get that snack, that craving that you want with the snacks, but a healthy option. Okay. And here's the ingredients for the trail mix, okay? So you can buy trail mix at the store, okay? But when you make it yourself, you can use more of the less expensive ingredients and less of the expensive ingredients to make it less expensive than the store-bought ones, okay? So we have corn checks, okay? This is another whole grain, okay? So our whole grains have our fiber and our B vitamins that we need, okay? Dried fruit, okay? We're gonna use just a little bit of dried fruit because that does, when you dry it, it has all the nutrients are condensed in it, which is good, but also all the sugars are condensed in it too. So that's why we use a little smaller scoop for the dried fruit. Peanuts, stay away from peanuts. What food group does the peanuts count as? Protein. Okay, are they our best source of protein? Probably not, okay? So they kind of count as protein. They also kind of count as fat, Okay, but like we said, not all fats are bad fats, okay? So there's oils in there that are okay for us. But if we eat a whole bunch of them, then that's a lot of calories, okay? And then for the sweet, because every trail mix needs sweet in it, we have chocolate chips, okay? But I want to tell you guys something about the chocolate chips. I got dark chocolate. So next time you guys are in the grocery store or in Walgreens and they have those rows of chocolate bars that say, 90% dark, 80% dark, 70% dark, and they have different percentages, look at the comparison between like a 60% dark and a 90% dark chocolate. Okay, there will be a huge more amount of sugar in that in the milk chocolate ones that are only 50% chocolate. The dark is actually really good for us. So this is one of the sweets that doctors will say is actually good for you. It has a lot of magnesium in it. It's good for us. So these are like, I think dark chocolate and red wine, right, are the two cheats that everyone thinks are maybe bad, but they're okay. But you guys don't need the wine, so we're going to do chocolate chips. Okay. For the pizzas, okay, put peppers, tomatoes, and mushrooms, okay, on the pizzas. Peppers, tons of vitamins A, vitamin C, potassium, folic acid, and fiber, okay? I think there was a little bit of potassium in our hamburger, but that was about it, okay? What does vitamin A do for us? I'll just tell you. You guys heard about night blindness, right? Vitamin A is good to keep from going night blind, okay? It's good for blindness for two reasons, okay? There is the night blindness, okay? There's actually a thing in our eyeballs that is made of vitamin A. So when you go from a dark room into a bright room, or from a bright room into a dark room, and it takes a second for your eyes to adjust, there's this thing in your eyeball, it's the rods and cones, and I forget which one is the vitamin A, but one is actually made of vitamin A, and it connects so that you can see again. It's like really, really cool. We don't know, people say it's important to get your vitamins, but we don't know all the little things that vitamins do, okay? So night blindness is one, but in other countries where people don't get a lot of vitamin A, kids can actually go blind because they don't have enough oils in their body. So it's a fat-soluble vitamin. So it's our first protection against disease as far as our skin, any oil on our skin goes, the surface of our eyes, our mouths, everything, right? So it creates a little surface of oil over it, so it protects us from germs, okay? Anybody in here, maybe Deborah, remember cod liver oil? Or the oil, when the grandparents would give you oil? Okay, and yeah, so it tastes nasty, but it kept you healthy because that was rich in vitamin A, okay? So, and vitamin C, yeah. Just torture, it was just torture, okay? But, okay, so vitamin C, we know is good for our immune systems, everyone says that, okay? But it also keeps our skin young and healthy, okay? So our collagen is made up of vitamin C, so it keeps our skin like connected to our muscles really, really well. So all these little vitamins, I don't want to go over every single one, but they all have really important roles to play, okay? And so when we think about, like I said, if we want to eat junk, we would have to eat a lot of junk and healthy food on top of that. We'd be eating all day long to get the nutrients that we need, okay? So we want to get as much healthy food in as we possibly can, and try to forget about that junk food, except on special occasions. But throughout a whole day, you should be really focused on that My Plate and getting your fruits, vegetables, and whole grains in to get all those little tiny nutrients that you need, okay? I could talk about them all day. Okay, so for our mini pizzas, okay, I already chopped up the peppers and the mushrooms. I think I made a little bit extra than we will need, okay? The mushrooms are really good if anyone's going vegetarian or vegan, because they have the B vitamins that vegans need, and D vitamins as well. So those are ones that give us energy, okay? And then tomatoes. Tomatoes also have even Even more. So there's vitamins, minerals, and then there's this other category of little magical chemicals, okay, that do even other things for us, okay? So tomatoes raw is a really good, has lycopene in it. It's really good for men's health as they get older too, okay? So there's like, beyond the vitamins and minerals, there's also other things we need from our whole food. Because you can say, I can eat junk and take a vitamin, okay? All the research that's been done is that whole food, it will always trump over vitamins, okay? It's every study we did when I was in college, every single time the whole food was better, okay? So we're gonna saute. These vegetables are gonna hide in our pizza because not everyone's super excited about all the vegetables. So what we'll do is we're gonna saute those, okay? I'll start on that. And then we have whole grain English muffins, okay, to make our little crusts with, okay? For the tomato sauce, it's just a can of tomato sauce. So up there, if you look at the price, 50 cents for the tomato sauce, okay? And the little jar that's not much bigger of the pizza sauce from the store is about $3.50, okay? So if you have at home Italian seasoning, or this is oregano and basil mix, okay? You can make your own tomato sauce and save that extra $3, which adds up over a period of time, okay? So we do it straight in the can, usually. I was afraid of making a mess in the science center, so I brought a bowl. But you could just shake your Italian seasoning, is $1, shake it in your little can, okay? And so this only, me talking, it's taken a long time, but if you are doing this at home, it really doesn't take a long time, okay? So if you want your crust more crispy, you toast it first. Anyone going to live in a dorm? No, okay. These little toaster ovens and these little skillets are super good if you ever are needing a dorm and you want to cook for yourself. Because that's one thing that is hard to do, is cook in a dorm. Okay. So when you guys, we'll have you guys start on trail mix first, and you'll go through the line and make trail mix. We want you to wear gloves and do bags. You can choose any seasoning you want, or you can choose no seasoning. And then we'll come over here and we will put a little bit of sauce. We'll put our veggie mixture in here, okay? Put that on top and then hide it under the cheese. So put the cheese on the top of the pizza. So that way, if you're not the biggest vegetable fan, it's in there. It's mixed in with the sauce. You don't see it as much.
I have a couple bags here that I put together before I put out the peanuts for the people with the nut allergies. So they can go right over here to the seasoning.
Okay. Do you want to just give one to her? I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Okay. And then with the trail mix, okay, so one thing I forgot about these trail mixes, once you get to the end of the line here, okay, if you want to do Flamin' Hot or ranch, okay, you put your trail mix in the bag, okay, and then spray a little bit of this in the bag. Do a tablespoon of the seasoning you want, and then shake it all up in your bag, okay? If you are doing Mexican hot cocoa, though, this has powdered sugar in it, okay? So it will automatically stick to everything. You don't need to spray, okay? So this spray is for Flamin' Hot or ranch. The Mexican hot cocoa just goes by itself. And then this is a soy sauce sprayer. So I got this today. Yeah, super cool. So when you dump out soy sauce and it all goes in one spot of your rice, and then you need more for the rest of your rice, okay, this will help us use just a little bit. And so we just spray this in here. And then I have the Cajun seasoning mix. So this one is my favorite. It tastes like the old Chex Mix kind of seasoning, okay? It is a little bit spicy, and the Flamin' Hot is spicy, but this one you'll just spray in the bag and shake a couple of shakes of this in there too. And we want everyone to wear gloves. When you're making the pizzas, we'll use gloves just because we're all sharing tongs and stuff like that, but normally if it was getting cooked and you were cutting it, you wouldn't have to wear gloves because it's gonna get cooked and kill most of the germs off anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
She wants you. So we will still maybe go wash our hands before we start. And then does anyone want to try the skillet and cook the vegetables, or you guys want me to do that part? All right, you guys can watch me saute the vegetables, and then try the lemon water, okay? If anyone hasn't gotten a waiver back to me or Deborah, we need those waivers. And then we have a survey at the end as well. If you hand me back a survey, you get a $10 gift card, so you can try this recipe at home too, the little pizza.
You get a gift card.
You get a gift card.
You filled it out. You're like, did I fill it out? All right, let's go ahead and, I think everybody I have except.
Okay, so with our skillet, we always get our skillet hot, especially in Colorado because it's so cold and high elevation. You get your pan hot first, then you add your oil, you get your oil hot, okay, and then you add your stuff. Because if you put oil in a cold pan and add like a cold hamburger on top of it, it's just not gonna cook very right, okay? So we always get it warmed up first. I'm gonna start, with these skillets, I'm gonna start a little bit lower than usual, okay? But feel free, if you guys want to go wash your hands and try and make a little trail mix. Or you can watch this if you want to watch this.
If you can get it in juice, that's really good, but if you get it in the syrup, you can also put that in the colander and rinse it and remove up to 60% of it. So that is sometimes a way that you can get your fruits and vegetables much
Or you can use instead of peanut butter.
You can drink it, right?
Yeah. So when you do those, you can use almond butter, almond butter, not almond peanut butter. But it actually tastes pretty